This video will show you 3 exercises for intention that will totally transform the way you go about using it. It's going to help you to understand the energy basis of how to go in the direction of what you want to create in a more powerful way than you have ever used before. Welcome back to another video. My name is Aaron and I help people expand their consciousness. Now in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you those 3 exercises that you can start applying today that can allow you to use intention in a very powerful way. So this is about understanding what intention is first off. Like I've explained this before, this metaphor, but think of intention like the sail on a boat. So you got like a boat that's in the middle of the ocean and it's windy, but there's no sail. So it's just kind of going around with the waves, it's just kind of moving around. But the moment you give it a sail and you put it in a certain direction, it can then go. Our lives are very similar. Like many times, if we were to simply set more intentions in life, we would start to create from a much more powerful point. Now, understand also that this whole process of manifestation has to do with how much we believe in ourselves and how empowered we feel. Now, if we do not see a correlation between what we think and what we experience, then a lot of times that remains in the subconscious, and that just remains to where we don't think that we actually can influence what we experience in our life. However, the moment you start to set intentions can be considered outcomes, they can be considered the will to do something, the will to have something. When you start to set intentions, you start to see your life go in a different direction because you're giving it direction. You're giving it some type of focus. And a lot of what success has to do in life, in order to be successful, you simply have to have the ability to go in a certain direction and to focus because momentum is so powerful. So I've explained how we can apply intention before, but what I thought I would do is combine 3 different exercises that you can use that if you start to use will change everything for you. So the first exercise I want to share with you is something that I have shared before, but it's just the most powerful one. So I couldn't not share it first. I was like, I could share the other 2, which I haven't shared as much, but this one's just one of the most powerful ones, and it has to do with something called segment intending. Now, segment intending is when we set intentions through different parts of our day, and when we do that consistently, we start to develop momentum with it. Now, think of it like this. Let me explain it in a little bit of a new way that I haven't explained it before. There is an electromagnetic energy field around our body. Now, we have certain momentums of energy that correlate with certain activities that we do. So most of our life, honestly, is ran by the subconscious mind, our subconscious mind. This is what neuroscience shows us. And therefore, many times we just go into autopilot. We're not even aware of it, but we're in the autopilot mind. So with that, we are consistently thinking the same thoughts, therefore we are feeling the same emotions, and we are also doing the same actions. We are perpetuating that same level of identity, therefore with the same intentions and creating the same things in our life. Now, when we think of things, there's an electromagnetic energy around our body. There's a toroidal field around our heart and our head that's going around our body at all times. And this is what happens. We set certain intentions through certain parts of our days. That energy builds within our energy field. And then, even if it's unconsciously, we go out into the world and we link up with situations that mirror back those intentions and those emotions. So if we want to start to powerfully affect our life, what we can start to do is this thing called segment intending, which will develop more momentum in our energy field towards that which we want, and also towards feeling the emotions of what we want to experience right now. So in order to do this, this is exactly what you can do. Now, there's certain segments of your day. A segment could be like me right now. I just got up from my bed and I meditated. That was a segment. And then what I did is I went and I took a cold shower. That was also a segment. After that, I brushed my teeth. That was a segment. Then I came over here, and here I am filming this video. This is a segment. After this, I'm going to film another video. That will also be a segment. After that, I'm going to go edit. That's a segment. After that, I'll eventually go to the gym. That's a segment. Not only that, but driving to the gym is a segment. And then going into the gym and working out is a segment. And then going into the sauna is a segment. So you see, these are different parts of the day, but this is what you do. You set intentions before you go into each segment for the outcome and what you intended to experience. So this is the cool part about it. So let me give you some examples of how you might do this. I get up, I set the intention, first off, that I just have a great day. Then what I do is I set the intention that I have a great meditation, that I expand myself, that I feel centered, present to the moment. Then what I do is I set the intention that I go take a cold shower. So what I do is I set the intention that I wake up, that I feel enlivened, I feel energized, I feel ready to go. Then I brush my teeth. This simple just segment, I tend to brush my teeth, tend to have fresh breath, tend to feel and be healthy. Then I go into the videos. So then what I do is I set myself the intention of having into the flow state. This is something I actually do. I set the intention that I get to a flow state, that I'm able to add value to the people on the other side, which is you. I'm able to then after that have a certain level of editing and be able to do that in a smooth way. Everything pieces together well. So you see what I mean. This is something that you do. Now this is the best part about it though. With momentum, so meaning you do things every day. Certain segments you're always going to do. A segment of you getting into your car and driving somewhere. That's a segment. What you could do is every time you get into the car, you prime yourself that you intend to have safe driving. You intend to, easily go through traffic, not to get angry. So you want to have more compassion if somebody cuts you off or something, so that you don't feel triggered, so that you maintain an observation point of view. And you set that intention, and over time as you do it, you build up the momentum of that intention, and that will powerfully transform your life. So because there's electromagnetic energy field around your body, and because for about a month there is certain momentum that's going on within your electromagnetic energy field. So if you felt something maybe a week ago, it might be easier for you to feel triggered for whatever that is, or maybe even a positive way. Maybe something positive happened and then something positive similar happens, and it triggers you into that same emotion from a week ago, because there's an electromagnetic energy field around our body that's constantly going, and there's a certain momentum from the last month. So you do this consistently. Think about the powerful momentum you will create over a month, and think about how that will literally raise your vibration. Because the truth is, when you raise your vibration, your intention is so much more powerful. You will create in a more powerful way than you've ever seen before. And honestly, that's the reason why I created that Raise Your Vibration MP3 that I give to you guys, because it will help you to raise your vibrational set point and create from a much higher paradigm and a much higher point of view. So that's why it's something you can download in the top of the description box below. It's absolutely free. I recommend you listen to it for 28 days, so that over the 28 days, you're able to build that momentum within your energy field, and you're able to then powerfully create from what you want from a much higher paradigm and a much higher vibration. So segment intending is something I do every single day. And what I do is I have certain intentions for my whole day in general. And then what I do is I have certain intentions for certain segments that I go into. So I recommend that you do that. I think it can absolutely transform your life. Now the second intention exercise has to do with the combination of two things. This is something I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he's written many books, How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself, You Are the Placebo, and it involves the neuroscience of intention and the neuroscience of our brain and how we change the way, how we think, how we feel, how we act, how that changes everything. So, what do we do for this one? Well, this one has a combination of two things. The idea is that we have a pure intention, and I'll explain that in a minute, combined with an elevated emotion. And when we pinpoint these two things together, it becomes very powerful. Now intention, think of the intention that comes from the head. We say, I'm going to go do that. I'm going to will myself to intend for that to happen, that outcome that I want to experience. Now the feeling, the elevated emotion, comes from the heart. Now think of it like this as well. The head, electrical impulses. The heart, magnetic impulses. Electromagnetic combination, we are combining the head and the heart. This is something that I've learned from so many different teachings, and it can literally transform your life if you do it. Many times the missing key for some people is either they feel a lot of emotion and they're feeling in the emotion state, but they're not having a direction or an intention or a vision, or they have so much of what they want that they feel like it's not here already and they lack that emotion. So what you want to do is take and grow that emotion, and in order to this is what you can simply do. Get yourself first off to a high emotion state. This could be you feeling the emotion of what it would be like to be in a relationship. It could be you remembering certain memories that you have of certain times, like getting yourself into a peak state. So this could be you remembering when you won an amount of money, or it could be you remembering when you manifested something great in your life. And what you do is you remember that, and in the memory of it, if you tag to it and you're able to visualize it, you can start to feel that elevated emotion that you feel. Now you can also imagine something that hasn't happened yet, and if you can powerfully visualize it by closing your eyes and putting the intention in your heart, you can also put your hands over your heart like this. What you can begin to do is to focus on the feeling, focus on the heart space. Wherever you put your focus is where your energy goes. Put your focus on your heart space right here. Even do that right now with me. Put your hands over your heart. Now focus on a memory that you have of something amazing that happened. Maybe it's you getting a raise at your job. Maybe it's a certain specific scenario with the person you're in a relationship with. Maybe it's something that you and your family experienced together. Whatever it is, imagine some time when you felt like you were in a great emotion. And if it takes you a while, that's fine. But think of what that situation is. Now what you want to do is you want to bring your awareness to the different parts of that memory. So what did it smell like? What did it feel like? What was the temperature of the air? Was the sun out? Were you inside? What did it sound like? What did you hear? All of these different things. What did it taste like? Were you at a beach and there was salt in the air? Were you drinking something or eating something earlier that day? As you bring your attention back to the submodalities of those things, you start to literally feel like you are there, and you bring back those emotions. So what you do is when you get that emotion, you're able to put your hands over your heart, you're able to feel the peak of what that is. Then start to focus on your intention. Focus on what you want to create, the vision you have. So it could be me, for example. I've shared this before, but me traveling the world, speaking in front of large groups of people, eating at great restaurants, meeting up with other people. That's my intention. Now, let me explain a pure intention. A pure intention is void of what is called excess potential. This is a reality transurfing idea that I've shared before. But what this basically is understanding that if I were to have the intention right now to go over and pick up a quarter that's on the floor, that's just pure intention. Go over, pick up the quarter, I have it. There's no excess meaning there. There's no like, can I pick up the quarter? I doubt, I don't know if I can. Let me see, how many steps will it take? Over analyzing it, just go pick up the quarter and pick it up. That's pure intention. Now here's the thing. As pure as that is, like if you were to go down to the newspaper stand, this is what they use in the book Reality Transurfing, even though it's kind of an outdated idea because nobody really does that anymore. But you go to the newspaper stand, you get the paper, and you come back, it's pure intention. There's no can I do it, will I do it, does this, all this complex ideas. Now what we do though, is we put these anchors on certain intentions that we do have. So it's like I want to create a certain amount of abundance in my life. Maybe it's I want to make $20,000 a month, for example. What we do is we say, can I do that? I don't know. Can I do that? Have I done it before? Will I do it? Who else has done it? Is it easy? Is it hard? We come up with all these ideas and we end up mixing in what is called excess potential because we make that goal more important than it has to be. Just like going over to pick up the quarter, it's not that important. Make it so that you more so balance it out by not making it that you will only feel happy once you obtain that intention or that goal, whatever it is. Make yourself happy in the present moment, and the moment you do that, you decrease the level of importance because you're good either way. So it's having that level of awareness. So that's what the power is. Pure intention. No excess meaning, no excess potential. It's just natural for you to attain your goals. It's natural for you. It's a part of who you are. The other side of that, the elevated emotion. Trigger yourself into feeling an elevated emotion and then swipe in, literally just like Jedi mind trick yourself into seeing and having that vision and that intention. Now the third exercise you can do is one of simply gratitude. Now to feel gratitude, what you do is something similar. You put your hands over your heart like this, and you focus on what you already have and what you already want more of. So I know that sounds like a little bit of an like a oxymoron, like how would you do both of those things? But what you do is you break down what you want. So if you want anything, it's because you want the emotion that comes with it. If you want more money, it's more freedom. If you want a relationship, it's connection, compassion, and love. If you want to I mean, there's so many different things that you can want, but it's all based on the vibration of emotion. So find out what that emotion is. Say, why do I want that? What emotion would I feel if I had that? If I was living in if I owned the most extravagant house I could think of, and I had like the perfect living situation where I'm traveling, what would I feel like? I'd feel the freedom of being able to do that. I'd feel the expansion of walking around a very luxurious house. I would feel the cleanliness of it, luxury. I would feel all these kind of experiences. What would I feel like if it were luxurious? Well, I would feel like I was always in a peak state, like I was inspired and creative. So you see, I can look at all these emotions. I can say, okay, how can I feel more of that emotion right now with what I already have? Well, I can look around and be like, well, I actually live in a pretty luxurious house right now. I could be like, okay, I have the freedom to do what I want when I want to do it. And even though I work a lot because I love what I do, I don't have to go to some 9-to-5 job. Now, if you do have to go to a 9-to-5 job, that's okay. I'm not talking down on that. What I'm saying is I look at that from my point of view because that's what I have to be grateful for. So from your point of view, whatever that is, maybe you do have a 9-to-5 job. Be grateful that you have a place to go to where you can make money, because there's some people that don't have a 9-to-5 job. If you don't have a 9-to-5 job, you can be grateful that you are able to find out what your purpose is and really go in the direction of what you want. So there's so many different angles that you can have this from, but feel grateful for what you already have. If you're watching this, you have internet connection. You might have a phone. Be grateful that you have the freedom to call whoever you want. You have the gratitude that you can do what you want when you want to do it. If you're hungry, you can go get something to eat. You can go over to the fridge, you have food there. Whatever it is, be grateful for what you already have and break that down into an emotion. If it's freedom you want more of, focus on the freedom you already have, because as you focus on that, it grows. You see, there's always a scale of two different things. What you want and the lack of what you want. And if you're focused on the lack of what you want, then you won't experience it because you're focused on that resistance. So instead, focus on what you already have, and you'll be more so in the vibration of what you want at the same time, because that's an abundance type vibration. So doing these 3 exercises, I think, can completely transform your life. Remember, all you have to do is more so focus on the energy, do segment intending, focus on raising your vibration through different segments of your day and really having certain outcomes that you want to experience. Do that consistently. It will build the momentum within your body, the electromagnetic energy. You will start to go more so in the direction of what you want. Combine the elevated emotion with that of the intention, and as you do that, you will be building up that energy, more likely to really create profound transformation in your life. And then thirdly, simply have gratitude, put it in your heart space, feel that emotion now, and everything begins to change. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm also going to be doing more live Q&As on Instagram, so feel free to follow me on Instagram as well. I'll link it right below. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next vid. Peace, much love.